Fixold Cameras produces step-by-step, close-up videos of simple, common repairs and basic maintenance on classic and vintage cameras. Your ability, the quality of your tools, and the condition of your camera will affect the success of your repair endeavor. A successful completion of the demonstrated repairs ultimately depends on your camera repair skills.
An occasional problem with a classic camera is the film door jammed because the rewind knob has fallen off and the shaft has dropped down into the camera. Fashion a film door release latch pick out of a paper clip. Unfold the paper clip so you have one long lead, and on the long lead just bend a little hook. Use a needle nose pliers to do so. The length of the hook should not be so long that it will not fit down into the hole of the rewind shaft bushing. Work the pick until you get it underneath the latch lever and then lift up. The door should pop open. If you don't want to mess around with the paper clip, you can also access the latch for the film door by lifting the leatherette by the latch side and then accessing the two screws that hold the cover plate of the latch. The screws are a little bit hard to get to on this particular camera because they're partially blocked by the door. But once the latch cover plate is removed, you can access the latch and work it so the door opens. You need to watch out for springs and bushings when you take that latch cover plate off, or they could fly out to parts unknown. Typically, you can hold the latch in place with your index finger as you work the latch to open the door. Note the bushings in the springs and the position before replacing the cover plate for the film door latch. With the film door latch back in place on this Nikon FM2, the rewind shaft can be slid up through the rewind shaft bushing because the rewind shaft lock can be released via the lever on the top of the camera. This allows the locking mechanism to clear so the shaft can be slid up through the bushing without being blocked by the lock. Place the washer and the lever spring plate onto the shaft, then seat the rewind knob and start the threads while holding the shaft in place. Release the shaft lock and pop it up so that you can access the spring plate and position it before tightening down the rewind knob completely. This film door on the Pentax K1000 is released in the same manner. With slight modification, the paperclip will work on any camera. Pentax K1000, like many classic cameras, but not all classic cameras, has film door latch accessibility under a cover plate on the side of the camera. Again, watch for the latch spring when removing the film door latch cover plate. On the Pentax K1000, the rewind shaft will not slide into place. It is being blocked by the rewind shaft detent, and it prevents the shaft from sliding into place. Forcing the shaft upward might be a temptation, but is not an option. The shaft is completely blocked by the spring that comes across the opening. Of course, the top cover could be removed to clear the spring, but that is not necessary if you are willing to slightly scar the rewind shaft by filing a bevel at the point of the shaft where the shoulder and the threads meet. Take your time and use only light pressure, as the shaft is only chrome-plated brass and files easily. Only file enough to get a bevel that looks something like this. It will not take very long. With the bevel formed and placed in alignment with the spring, the shaft will now slide easily up through the hole as the spring is pushed aside by the bevel. The Pentax K1000 rewind knob stays in one piece so it can be immediately threaded onto the rewind shaft. With the rewind knob in place, the little nick that you made to create the bevel is hardly even noticeable. Better yet, with the rewind knob down, it is absolutely not noticeable. Thank you for watching.